guys, welcome to the Monica Brant Show. I am Monica, and I'm here with a very special guest, Dan from Tick Tock Shop.
How's it going, y'all? Monica, really appreciate you having me on here.
I'm excited to visit with you and find out what you're interested in with Olympia. How cool.
Yeah, definitely. So here with Tick Tock Shop, we've got our booth set up here. This is our first time at the Olympia, first time just kind of making the rounds at these fitness expos. Particularly, I'm with the health team, so work with all the vitamins, all the supplement brands.
Oh, wow.
Really fast-growing space in the Tick Tock Shop field. Obviously, working with Absolute, being able to meet with Absolute legends like you is a huge privilege, as we're always looking to learn more about the fitness industry, just kind of how it's evolved over the years, the future of it. So obviously, you've been in the space for a long time. All the competitions, magazine covers. Pretty much checked all the boxes that anybody could want to check. So would love to learn a little bit more about, in your time in the fitness space, how you've seen the industry evolve and change.
Oh, goodness. It has changed a lot. So picture, I started in 1991. I was 20 years old, and I started seeing some fitness, the fitness competitions come out in the magazine. So at that time, there was only women's bodybuilding in the women's world. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you look at what we have now, we've got, 6 different categories for women, or 5, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So it was only women's bodybuilding when I got involved. And I was a true fitness athlete, meaning it wasn't bodybuilding, but we did have with fitness, you have a routine round with gymnastics and dance and all of the stuff, and then you also have a physique round. So I was the original, very first IFBB fitness athlete to win a title within the IFBB fitness, and got invited to the very first fitness Olympia for fitness. So yes, definitely go back a long time, and I competed for almost 26 years between fitness, and then I went into figure when I was tired of doing gymnastics. So I went into figure. Are you familiar with all the different women's events?
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, I did figure. I was the first fitness pro to come over and do fitness or figure as well. So I was invited to the first figure international show at the Arnold, and then went on from there. So competed all the way up to 46 in the industry, and it's been an amazing journey. But what I really loved about all the competing, I'm an athlete at heart, so I compete in track and horses and Spartan racing and other things too. It wasn't just this industry, but I really love meeting all the people, getting to come year after year. This is my 24th year coming to the Olympia.
Oh, wow.
Competed in, I think, 10 Olympias between fitness and figure. And so it's fun to come back and reconnect with the people that helped create this industry, meaning the legendary athletes that keep coming back. And then of course, the fans. So I've been able to see fans year after year after year, and get to, just kind of have your time to see them at the Olympia and visit and reconnect. And of course, all the great companies. I've worked with a ton of really incredible companies over all the years as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's got to be really cool seeing how the Olympia has grown and changed over the years. Obviously, this right here, we're at the 60th Olympia, so awesome event that they've been putting on for a really long time now. Especially with the rise, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of companies kind of come in and out of here. But a big trend that we've been seeing, especially in the fitness space, is the rise of personal brands and having your social media presence. How do you think that, how important do you think that is moving forward for competitors, for athletes, of building their own brands?
Well, I think it's really important to be able to stand out, because, we can't compete forever, number one. And, then sometimes there's different reasons why people have to stop competing, maybe an injury or something like that takes them out. But it's really important to be able to not just have in my opinion, to not just have your identity in being a competitor. I mean, I think that's a big part of this, but there's so many other aspects that should be taken in when you want to have a business, and you want to be able to, and some people are corporate and they do other work, so they have something else, but as an athlete coming in, it's important to build your brand and build your name, and if you can get a company that stands out with your own name, that's pretty amazing, especially coming from someone that maybe just started working out and getting on stage for fun.
Sure. Awesome. So obviously competing in bodybuilding is what I think is one of the toughest sports that you can do, because it's around the clock. It's the sleep, it's the diet, the training, the hydration. There's just so much that goes into it. In your time and your experience with competing, what would you say is the most difficult part of prepping for a show, of the whole competing process?
Right. Well, so especially in my first 10 years of being in the industry, I traveled nonstop, and in the very beginning, because I was one of the very first fitness pro girls to be featured in all the magazines, I ended up traveling worldwide to bodybuilding shows that did not have fitness yet, but they wanted to bring fitness in. So I would get hired from the promoters to come in and show what fitness was. So I would travel around the country, to Canada and different parts of the world, to go as an athlete of fitness, show my routine, and be, in a situation like this, meeting fans and just demonstrating, sometimes doing seminars and making appearances, different locations, depending on the weekend. So that was really tough when you're trying to get ready for a specific show, and yet you still want to be able to earn money outside of just if you're going to make money on a show, So having those appearances was really important, and also it was a lot of fun, traveling around. You get taken excellent care of. Promoters always treated you like royalty. You show up and, they roll out the red carpet for you. So they always wanted to take you to dinner, and you're like, oh, I got a show I'm getting ready for. So those were kind of the hard things, I thought, to stay as consistent as you need to be when you're doing a lot of that kind of traveling. But, it was all part of helping to bring fitness into the world. So you make it work, right?
Definitely. So you mentioned with the travel, obviously as a high level athlete, you kind of get, like you said, they roll out the red carpet for you, you get that royal treatment. Is there one particular show or trip that really stands out to you as your favorite?
Oh gosh. Well, let's see, we're talking like 20 something years. And I'd have to go back and think about it. I think going over to Australia was always really a pleasure. Lots of fans over there that can't necessarily get here as often. So when I would show up in Australia, it was just a tremendous amount of fans. I think Brazil and Argentina also were really big fan based, and they just, there was one event I went to, and it was they got so crazy that they had to take me out of the event because there were so many people lined up to see me. They took me out the back and drove out with me because they were worried about how many people were lined up, and it was just it got a little wild. I don't remember what country that was in right now, but I remember being there. I did my routine on stage, part of my guest posing, right? I had taken pictures, but everyone got really rowdy, and they were like, we're gonna just take it because there's just so many people. But and then I remember being in Argentina, and they took us to some of the best restaurants, and it was, I got to go a couple days in advance and get to shop and just see the location. So some of those were really fun too, right? Been to South Africa, that one was really fun too. So sometimes when you go further out, that the fans just are so much more appreciative because they would just see you in a magazine and they wouldn't get, like so many of them couldn't travel, to come to these events.
Yeah.
So that was always fun when you went to those other countries because people just really, I went to Japan for an appearance, I remember, and they just, made you feel like you were really something.
Definitely.
And the fans were just so excited to have somebody there that came to see them and maybe share some information or something. Yeah,
that's really cool getting to see is in all these different countries, all these different cultures, like how bodybuilding and that whole industry has impacted them and how receptive they are. So that's got to be really awesome getting all those experiences. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of going back to like competing in the level of competition. Obviously, when people think of bodybuilding, you think of the golden era, the days of Arnold. I feel like bodybuilding is kind of broken out into eras like by decade. There's like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. What do you think has been the best decade of bodybuilding so far across the board, men's and women's?
I want to say, not just because I was involved, but I'm thinking the 90s and were pretty impressive because you had all of the great names coming in, that were still there. And then we brought the women's fitness in. So, which was women's bodybuilding for however many years. And so we brought the fitness in the 90s. And then figure started at the tail end of the 90s, beginning of 2000s. So there was a lot more. But one of the things that was so special about those days that I know we've kind of lost now is literally the magazines. People loved getting a magazine every month in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
Looking to see what was going on, who placed in the competitions, because there wasn't the internet, right? Everything was instantaneous.
That pre-Instagram.
And I'll tell you, that was really awesome for us is the magazines helped create the stars, as opposed to a lot now where people are making themselves stars. So I don't know. I know there's a give and take there, and there's a lot of new opportunities now within social media that people can utilize and make money. So I don't want to take away from that either. But I think it was some really special days. Athletes seemed to really be in touch with each other and helped each other out. I don't know. It's just really special. Of course, back then we had Gold's Gym. Like, the Mecca was the Mecca, and it wasn't franchised out. It was just, hardcore, the great athletes.
Yeah.
I think now it's kind of gotten more commercialized, and so I don't know. There's just some really special times, and I know a lot of the fans like to go back and remember the good days with getting the magazine. And people have showed me they've got like magazines, that they've saved.
Oh,
because
wow.
they don't, and some people are using them, like using the workout still, and they'll do like social media posts where they'll take the article. I've had one guy that's done, I think, 3 of mine from Muscle and Fitness, and he'll take it. He has his own gym at home, and he's like, okay, today I'm doing this leg workout by Monica that was featured in Muscle and Fitness 1998 or whatever year, right?
Sure.
And he does all the exercise and talks about it, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think those were really special years, and I know there's a lot of great athletes now too, but that was different too back then because it was just a smaller, and it wasn't as, you had to really stand out to be a pro, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just what I look back to as well. So
Yeah.
It might be different if you talk to someone else that's current, right?
No, definitely. And to your point, like especially with the growth of social media, things evolve and things change a lot faster than we're used to. And like you said, with that magazine, people are still doing workouts back from 1988, and these days with the rise of social media, everything's got to be new, everything's got to be the next best thing.
Yes.
But especially in the fitness industry, just sticking to the basics and just being consistent, just having that consistency
Right.
and that discipline. I feel like that's the real key to that long-term success.
I think what gets a challenge with social media, in my opinion, again, I'm 53, right? So I had years of having a members part of my website for 10 years where I would keep up my diary for my fans, and it was a fan-based membership. So I only, I communicated with them on day-to-day basis, and but you didn't feel like every day you had to be on camera and setting up lights and having the interesting things every day to keep your social media going, right?
Right.
It was a little more stress-less. I think today with the athletes and what I see has got to be when they're trying to maintain and be the next thing and have a lot of, keep their followers, keep the engagements. Like, it's one thing to be an athlete and to really be able to focus in on your competition and that's all you do. But now when you add in that, now you've got to keep up your personality, right?
Right, your brand.
And show your everything. And I think that's got to be really hard.
Definitely.
I mean, your everything, like your food and how you're training. And,
right.
Do I have the right lighting up? Do I have the camera set up? My husband and I were looking at something last night, and we saw somebody go through and tear down this girl's. She had 3 or 4 lights up in the gym, and he went and just was like, enough of this. Because everyone's set up in the gyms now to
the gym tripod is becoming
themselves.
a very big thing.
I know.
See it
it's
everywhere.
Yeah. And I think, too, that, I know better because it's not where my identity falls in, or where my identity is based in. But I think that some of the new people coming up, it's got to be really challenging for them to think, how do I put my foot in this space and make a difference? And how can I start getting the views and start having, I think it'd be really hard to come in as a new competitor now and trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And be really super creative on social media and be able to be a good athlete and networker, and it's a lot of hats to wear.
There's just so much to keep track of now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some fun to it too, and I, of course, enjoy when I get to connect with my fans on social media. So that's a lot of fun, and reminiscing some of the good things. And
yeah, it just keeps the community close. Like the bodybuilding space as a whole, I feel like is a very close community. Everyone's very well connected. Everyone's very friendly. There's not a whole lot of like real beef that you see. So there definitely is that good networking opportunity that I think social media does play a good role in.
I know one thing that was different for us as an athlete back in the day. We went to the gym and trained, but we didn't show our physique like all the time. Right? And now it's like and I don't know if this is they feel like they have to continue all the time to show how conditioned they are, like weeks and weeks out of a show, as opposed to, we may have done a photo shoot a week out of the show, or 2 weeks before the show, or something like that, where that would then come out in the magazine. But it wasn't like we were just always having to showcase where we were at any point, of the day, because now with social media, it's like every day they're like showing the different parts of their body and how lean they are.
Right.
I don't know. That's probably a interesting conversation for you with some of the new competitors.
No, for sure.
Right, and find out how do they manage that, because that seems like that would be it'd be a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Am I showing enough? Am I lean enough every day? Like, am I gonna? I don't know.
Right.
But
Awesome.
I mean, so it's just an interesting, different take on from the old days to now.
Definitely. So speaking of the newer generation and people who are kind of just coming into the space, because we often see people come into the space, 16, 17, 18 years old. People typically start their competing journey, their bodybuilding journey. If there's one piece of advice that you could give to a new aspiring competitor, someone who's thinking of getting into the space, what would that piece of advice be?
Ooh, that's good. Well, I think one thing that I've always, because I used to host a lot of women's events for almost 15, 16 years. I hosted women's events all around the world. And I always tried to remind them, number one, figure out what you will and won't do, right? Because if you don't know that going in and people start asking you to do stuff, because you will get asked to do things that you may not be comfortable with. So know your boundaries and what, because we are in a very physical environment.
Right.
So I always, for women, I'm not necessarily talking about the men, but for women, like, know your boundaries, know why you're doing what you're doing. It can't just be for a win, because these are subjective, and when you get on stage, there's a ton of great bodies up there on any given day. Like, so know why you're doing it and have a bigger goal than just want to win.
Right.
Have a bigger goal, and then figure out how you can give back, because I think that's what creates the longevity for people, is when they actually can give back something, or teach, educate, inspire, give back. Those are the things and the ways. And of course, then I'm always like, I'm a true athlete, so get in there and be athletic.
Right.
Be athletic.
Leave a legacy.
Yeah, because we have to be athletic forever. It's not just about the competition. Like, it's what you do in between those competitions that helps you create your name, your business, your physique. And competitions, you may not always compete, so you always have to be somewhat athletic, I think, to have good anti-aging.
Definitely.
Keep the muscle.
Exactly. When you work out, when you keep yourself healthy, you end up looking like this at 53, which is insane.
Thank you.
Thank you. One last question here for you, and again, really appreciate your time here. This has been absolutely amazing.
Great. I love talking about this kind of stuff. It's
Definitely.
fun.
No, this is an awesome learning experience for me. So obviously, being here with Tick Tock Shop, we're over here at the Olympia. We've got our booth set up with some of our top brands, our top sellers. We've been seeing a ton of great new supplement companies come onto the platform. So in your years of bodybuilding, what does your favorite supplement stack look like?
Oh gosh, okay. There's an egg white product called Egg White International.
Okay.
They're not here this year. They used to be here every year, probably for 20-something years. And the owner isn't able to come right now, some personal stuff. But the company is tremendous. And I love it because it's pure liquid gold protein, and it's served as a liquid, so you can drink it.
Okay.
So you're getting, and when you use it, you get 100% bioavailability from it. So you can put it in with anything that's liquid and drink it. It takes on the flavor of everything, and you can add, with a cup of it, you can add 26 grams of protein. So for me, getting in enough protein is really, really important. And of course, there's a ton of great protein powders out there, but I want to add that to my protein powder. So I think protein is really important. And then as far as supplements, I mean, we're talking everything under the sun here, right? I'm also a very big fan of an Aloe Life product because I want to keep my digestion really healthy and clean, because the healthier our digestion is, the more our cells are going to be able to absorb the nutrients that we're taking in. And then, of course, I'm with this company here, StemRegen, which is about replacing or enhancing your own stem cell ability within your own body, because we produce our own stem cells. So this product is all natural botanicals, and it helps release our own stem cells for recovery, replenishing, repairing, and also for muscle growth. So really important. And this is their first year at the Olympia, so I'm really excited to bring them here. They've been
awesome.
Global in the biohacking and longevity world. So this is their first year to be here. They want to get involved with the athletes and the sports. So this is exciting to be here with them.
Awesome. So is that like the full stack over there?
Yes, there's 3 products. So there's one that releases the stem cell. This one is called Signal. So it helps remove any inflammation that's around maybe a joint or something that's in pain, or wherever there's inflammation. It helps to release the inflammation and then signal where the stem cells that are released from release go. And then this is Mobilize, so it helps to just take that stem cell, open up your blood vessels a little bit more so that you get all of that beautiful blood flowing and the nutrients and the stem cells coming to where they need to go. Because they can, when we get a stem cell shot, that's one local area, right?
Sure.
So this is something that's produced from your own bone marrow and your own muscle, and it's released throughout your entire body, so it can go wherever it needs to go. So I like it. Pretty excited about using it, and it's one of my favorites now.
That's awesome. And where can you buy those? Are those being sold online?
Yes, stemregen.co.
Okay.
And I'm happy to introduce you to some of the guys here. But yeah, that's a great company. But yeah, stemregen.co, and it is global. This company's been out in the biohacking field, and they've been tremendously utilized by a lot of the people in that industry. So now they're stepping into the sports and athletes.
Awesome. Love it. We'll have to get them on TikTok Shop.
Yes, of
Shameless
course.
plug.
The owner and the CEO are right here, so
Love
we'll
it.
introduce you to them.
Awesome. Definitely. Looking forward to it. Well, Monica.
This is awesome. I'm so excited to get to visit with you.
Yeah, again, really appreciate your time. This has been absolutely an amazing experience. Looking forward to the rest of the weekend here at the Olympia.
Right.
Would love to have you over at our booth. Come check
Yes.
it out. We got a live DJ.
I'll come
We got
over.
a ton of product samples. We got a pull-up competition. A lot of exciting stuff going on in the TikTok Shop space.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining here. Thank you, Dan, for having me on and getting to utilize the show here.
Appreciate you.
Exciting. All right, guys. We'll see you soon here at the Olympia.
StemRegen is professionally formulated for athletes for enhanced recovery, improved microcirculation, and smart cellular signaling. I attribute being an athlete to all of the years of this incredible journey I've had in the health and fitness industry. I'm Monica Brant, 30-year health educator and encourager. Having added StemRegen into my program for the last year, I've been able to maintain the level of intense exercise that I demand on myself. Thanks to StemRegen, I am unleashing my regenerative potential.